Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the first lecture of this event. As you all know, probably this is an event, ongoing event for 3 weeks. The opening of the big exhibition was 2 days ago, and we start with the first lecture with Cyan from Germany. And next week we have 2 more lectures. So I'd like to welcome you all to this first one, and I'll turn the mic to Lara Kaptan, who's going to introduce our guests.
Hello, everybody. The Berlin Wall fell in 1990. Oh, what did I do? Oopsie. Maybe I should go down. Rewind. Oh.
Okay.
Yes, I think I will. So, Cyan is a group founded in 1992 in East Germany, they're part of the Alliance Graphique Internationale since 2001. They work exclusively for cultural clients, including the Bauhaus Dessau. And this is Daniela Halfer, and this is Detlef Fiedler, and I guess they will speak more about their work, so I think we should start.
Can you put the light off? Hello, everybody. At first, we'd like to say thank you for Leila Musfi and all my English colleagues. They made this happen, that we are a second time here. We are very we appreciate very much to come in this part of the world. We like it, and we hope we can transport something from our work to you with, our less words in English. So, our lecture called 20 Years Work in the Field of Graphic Design and Art. This is our entrance picture because it is something like this. The question is who we are. Are we the sheeps, or the goats, or the shepherd? Or are we just the invisible dog who is taking care of all of this? We don't know. So, and this is where we came.
This
last
is
week.
How springtime is in Berlin. This is a picture of our area, of our street, nearly 1 week ago.
This is all our area. So we came from this frozen. This is our dog. We come from this frozen part of the world in springtime, and just to show how badly it can be if it is cold. So flea market, they still resist against the cold, and even they try to sell tea, but you see the ice thing. It's April in Berlin. This is the former wall. Now people are playing there. It's really in springtime. Oh, I'm a little bit nervous. We had some problem.
Some pictures of our studio. This is our living room. Daniela is reading newspaper every day.
It's a research room, you know.
And
Mach mal ein bisschen schneller. So let me show you a little bit the environment of our work. We are still working with books, and we are not very, like Germans, in order, so it's not very ordered.
this is our table where the mostly speak about the projects.
Es dauert ewig.
Yeah.
Wieso dauert nicht so lange? Sorry. So we tried to Leila was telling us we shall show all work is not possible. We try to find some things from the early beginnings to explain and some recent projects, but I'm not sure what's happened. It should be the short introducing. Something is with the computer that the pictures are so long. Took so long. Okay, so that's it. The poster we made because of 20 years falling down our wall, you know, the wall between East and West Berlin. And we got the subject progress, and we should make something like an artwork about progress, how we felt about the progress we have seen 89. It's a little bit chaotic, but and very male.
And this was for an open air exhibition in the center of East Berlin.
Well, this is what we really like to show you, because in the class yesterday we told a little bit about how the work was in the beginning of the 90s. This was a poster supposed to be refused, or that you refuse the participating to the first Iraq war, and it is everybody has every day the possibility to refuse, and there are some numbers where the people can call, because in this time the German government was thinking that they take part to the invention of the first Iraq war, and there are some numbers where you can call, oh, can you help me? I don't like to go to the thing. And we made this in one night with a lot of coffee, because every changing of this, it was, you know, the Mac Classic, something like a A5 screen. So, but for us, it was very interesting to have to make in the night a poster, and the next morning it was printed. It was printed.
So one of our first projects in the 90s were the magazine Form and Zweck. It was a design magazine, critical design magazine, and we did it 11 issues. These are the both last issues. So we didn't have very good pictures, and so we decided to make collages.
Even with this small amount of bits and bytes in the computer, we had no money for, you know, the repro work, so we had low-res pictures and tried to make something nice with this. And also we were very against in this moment, because all the reflecting design in the beginning of the 90s for us was something like colorful, glossy, and not thinking behind. So in this magazine, we were trying to have some texts that reflect and are more critical to the consumption and colorful and fast and all this kind of fast food products and fast food communication. This is the last number we made, and the subject was reparature? Sagt man Reparatur? Reparature? You understand? Reparature? So because everything we put away, but it's easier perhaps to repair. But in this time, it's not easier to repair. And this is a magazine where some of the histories, why people have to repair in which ways, and also how you repair software. Some software you repair, and the repairing of the software takes more space in the computer than in the new software, and all these kind of problems we had in this magazine, and we used this kind of nails that when you got this, you can repair it at first, or you let it and it is away. You know, it's only glue. It's not binded. So it is all two colors. In this time, two colors was more cheap than 4 colors. So today it's different, I know. And we used all recycling paper we found from the old printing houses from the DDR, because they like to throw it away, because it is not glossy and nice enough, but that's why we had it for nothing, and we printed this. So repairing a lute is also very, because if you today repair a lute with wood, you destroy it, because in these old times the wood was in another constitution.
Than today, and yeah. This is the end of repair, and then we had some other articles about the first zoo in Berlin, which was started with showing humans.
And not animals, so it's like a perverse, like a little bit perverse. When I see this, what we have done in this time, it is something like overdone with design. But in this time, we were very angry about all these easy ways, and even the material was not nice enough to show it because of the bad. Some were only copies, you know. It was not really photos. So we try our best to find solutions for a bad material. And once I forgot to say, because also of saving time or not saving time, the Form und Zweck, we did these 11 issues, and the only thing what was the same in this, to use one letter and have one format. But in the other way, every issue was a little bit different. And in this time of computers, when we had 16 pages ready for print, we have to give it to the printing house for films, control the films, go back, delete all files to have space to make the next 16 pages for you. Is, I think, is not in your brain that is something like this happens. So that's why it's not really strict. You know, we made only 16 pages and next 16 pages.
So this project is Singo. We did work for this gallery in Berlin for many, many years. It is starting in a former church, and we are also got member of this galleries, and they invited sound artists from all over the world to make a project for these special rooms in Berlin.
So what I like to say, what I like to say, the Singo gallery in the beginning in the 90s was very, very small and had not really money for something, but there were, for them as a poster is also something like important. So we don't make flyers, so they trust us to make an individual interpretation of every subject. Every season has a subject. This is a subject of composition with clusters in the room of the church. So, and then they give us money for a silk screen. But the only problem we had is that we have for one series, for one season, 3 or 5 or 4 different exhibitions under one subject. And so we had only to change, we have to change the silk screens. We could not make for every exhibition a new poster, so it is a little bit tricky. But in the end, there is something that for one season it is recognizable. And so this is 2003.
No, 2003.
2003. There were no money, that they said they don't have enough money for big, for 3 or 4 exhibitions, only for one. That's why we have one big 1 meter 40 poster and only imprints. And this was something we were very happy about it. After this, we continue this.
So the theme of this year, this 2004, was physics, make sound with physical phenomena, and so we used pictures from an old physics book. And we also changed the silk screens and the colors to have different posters.
In the beginning, all the artists, because they were very famous artists, they were angry. Oh, I like to have my own poster only to my work. But after a few years, always they are very expect. Oh, what is the subject of this year? And it is not a fight between the artists and us. It is more like an. It's a good encounter every year. Encounter, ich weiß nicht.
Begegnung.
This was a sweet festival. It was not an exhibition, but also there. You see this kind of colors. This was an exhibition. No, this was not an exhibition. There was a subject how you can build up rooms without walls, only with sound, and how the human body is reaction, because of the resonances. And 4 artists were working with this idea in this church. And this was something like nothing, the subject of this season, because every artist made what they want. So we decided to make something with letters, Sing-Uhr, singing clock is the idea of, is the title of the gallery. This was the last season in the church. And then the Sing-Uhr changed into an
water reservoir or
storage.
Oh,
water storage. You know what a water storage is? Water to keep from the old times. So in Berlin is one is a big circle in the ground, and before it was to have water inside, and now it is a space for art. So there are 2 very big circles in the middle of the city. So we decided for the first thing of water, we make something like water, and go not to the subject, we go more to the idea from the new place. And the next year it was all these there were only 2 exhibitions, and they were really working that they try to make circles with sound in the circles of building. So they have to have some more race, and if you go through this kind of exhibition, you lose a little bit, where's up, where's down, so it is a little bit with irritation. Ist das auch erklärt? In Nasser. So you see, always we try a little bit to experiment with the overlapping of things that more existed, but they are not, only for decoration. But I cannot explain for every exhibition where's the link, but you can believe there is a link. This was for destruction of the circle thing that they put some new rooms in. This was a little bit like minimal, but this was a loud exhibition, and the next they were not so loud. That's why silver. And the last year is this. So we have it not as a picture. There's also very fluorescent colors. It is only the PDF, and it's not really visible. Okay, this.
Olafur Eliasson had to design or had to make the pavilion for Denmark in 2003, and his studio is in Venice, and his studio is based in Berlin, and so Denmark did allow him to come to a Berlin designer, And he was always very interested in our Form und Zweck, and that's why he did ask us for doing this project with him. And his
not with him. He said, I like to have a book where you can leave. We don't have any orientation because it is a subject of my pavilion. Please find the way how we can manage it. That is not a normal book.
Yeah, and we try to do a book without a beginning and an end.
So we have 9 different papers. Some are thick, some are thin, so you can feel differently. And Sven Åge Mortensen is a Danish writer. He was writing for every page 1 line. And then 26 lines they gave to different writers from all over the world, that they start with this line 1 story, and then we found some different ways. You can read the story there, or you can follow the other story. There are some scientists, there are some poets. It is really a little bit a labyrinth, and perhaps it is unnecessary because it doesn't mean we need something, but there are some thoughts in, and you can find what is interesting for you. And the connection to the art of Olafur is that we used some shapes of him. Most of the illustration material we found or we made at the flea market, or we made it ourselves. And I never expected that he has not many wishes of change. You know, an artist and a designer, often they say what you have to do, what you have to change. We were so lucky that there were only 2 pages we had to change. So we understood right what was his intention, I think so. The problem was in the end, when we were ready with the English version, then they come up with the idea, oh, we need a Danish version too, but we have not money for more. So, and then we spoke to the printing house, and then he said, if you only change black, then we can make a special price. So we had to make in a very short time, without change anything else, that the Danish version must be filled up in the same space like the English version. But in the end, it worked. It worked? It's a little bit decorative, but it is good for this work of him. It is a little bit, he made something very simple that you lose your orientation. Otherwise, what he had done with a pavilion was also dedicated to the early modernism from the 19th century, not from the 20th. Early. Okay.
In 2004, we did. Somebody asked us to make the pavilion for the Venice architecture show, the German pavilion, and the curator was
Francesca
Ferguson. She came from England, and she had the idea to show how complicated it is in Germany to build with all these bureaucracy and these
laws. No, nicht. The problem is she liked to. Okay, so it's a German pavilion of architecture. Everybody's expected. Oh, the nicest architecture you have in Germany should be there. But her idea, and I think it is how ugly is Germany? Is really ugly. They built a lot of unnecessary buildings. They are really ugly, and one of the reasons is these kind of rules. And so that's why she had the idea that we make an 80-meter collage and put in normal pictures from all over from Germany. We worked together with students for photography. And you see here the orange ones. This is a fictive landscape. It's not a really one. This was in the end a flyer, because there we made intersections of the good ideas. So, and then you had holes in the end to, this was the real thing, 80 meters and 3 meters high. And there are some holes, and you can read how could they do this in spite of these kind of laws, how tricky it is. So here are some impressions from the pavilion. Pavilion. We were very short to the prize, but we in the end we had not won the prize, but we were the most popular pavilion, I think, because we had this kind of seats. Everybody was, rest. It was very seldom in this time that a pavilion is, critical, a critical pavilion to the own architecture reality, because it is really ugly in Germany. Okay, die Campaign.
Ich mach mal einfach den Film, oder?
Okay.
No sound.
No, less. Normalerweise. Sorry for the ugly music. So we made 2000, and it was the North Rhine-Westphalia. This is the area of Germany. They like to have the Olympic Games of 2012. They haven't won this, but they made advertising for a few years. So our idea was to look at all these flags. They are IOC states, and then look how many percent from red, from white, and all these colors. And then we developed a flexible system, something like this. So here you see all the percent of colors in all these things. And it's a terrible name, Düsseldorf Rhein-Ruhr. I was asking, can we make something else? But they were happy about this Düsseldorf in international context. Perhaps this is the reason we got it not, and it was in China, I don't know. And here you see the politician. Wow. Huh? Is it stupid? This was, all in the, it was 3 years, the campaign that all North Rhine-Westphalia was, except this. We have never done such a big design. But the people in the region were very happy and they really engaged to get this. Look at this. Huh?
These are people who try to make this logo with different
but
things.
In the end, for money, they like to have the Olympic Games. So then you have money for the region.
But the Ministry of Sports does it use for sports events since then. Ooh,
okay.
It's now boys.
Oh, this is hard now. We try to make it because I recognized now that nobody here is knowing who's Joseph Beuys. Or is anybody knowing who's Joseph Beuys? Yeah, Casey. My English is really not good to explain. We made 2 things about Beuys, and he's for us or for many people, one of the inventors or modernizers of art, because his thinking is not you are an artist because you have a pencil and you make something on the wall and make a frame outside and wow, it's art. His idea is everything and everybody is an artist and everything can be art. His idea was a social plastic too, and he has a very, very big system of thoughts about society, parallel system of thoughts about art, and he was a sculptor, he was a drawer, he was a performer, he was a teacher, he was a co-founder of the Green Party of Germany, very successful. No, not in this time. He was born 21 and died 86, and my English is not enough to explain the whole work of Beuys, but it is for us still in the universe. And in Germany, a lot of people in the last 20 years, they put in on something like a throne. And this was not our idea. The curator and us, we tried to find, to make a working book, how you can approach the ideas of Beuys. So we make a 416 pages working book, to a parallel exhibition, and we try to analyze him not in the way this part of art, this is politic way, or this is the early art, this is the late art. We made it with 15 theses or quotations of him. So we show you a few of the system, and the system you see now is the same how the exhibition has worked.
The exhibition was the largest Beuys exhibition after Beuys died, and
überhaupt. The whole Hamburger Bahnhof.
Yeah, it was more than 4,000 square meters with a lot of original works of him.
So now we'd like to show a little bit our approach, how we work, because in the beginning we had a mass of pictures, and the next problem is the contemporary kind of photography art is so cool and so ugly that you cannot feel what's really done there. So we used a lot of pictures and photos from the actions from the 50s and 60s and 70s. So in the beginning, you know, we tried to order something to one chapter or another chapter, and it was something like this. In the beginning, we felt lost, and all together we had not more than 5 weeks. So then the next problem, Steidl is a very, very famous publishing house, but he's always disappeared. And we tried to, this is urgent. I have to know how much more it costs if we need 100 pages more. You know, he never answered. In between, it was planned to 200 pages. In between, it was 600 pages. And in the end, we had 416 pages. And he has printed this. And we were sending to Göttingen. The printing house was in Göttingen. It's not so near to Berlin. 80 kilos of old books, because they had to scan from there. So, and then we had something like a
system of colors, 4 colors, and one color.
This is
or
not
2
so
colors,
expensive, and so. But in the end, he has printed this. So, this is Professor Dr. Eugen Blume. It's a leader of the Museum of Contemporary Art in Berlin, and this is also a curator. They both had curated this. She is from Australian. And it was something like a Cigan camp. They were in our room, and you know, this blurry person, that's me. I always, you are ready with correction here. The next sheet you have to make. So it was really,
The whole room was full of Beuys and pictures and pages and.
This is Japanese. She was the assistant from the museum, and always was helping us because you get all the rights, you know. It's a famous artist, and the widow and all these things, it was not so easy. So altogether there exist 2 pictures where Beuys is laughing. This is the nicest one, and we decided to make it on the title. The Revolution We Are was the idea, because he's... Mach mal einfach schnell weiter, oder? we try to go through this because we lost some detailed picture to explain, but I tried to make it so. These are the theses or the quotations, and they have numbers, and with this number system we try to make the caption. Every caption, has a thesis. This is death keeps me awake. And so it is his last work we start the whole book with. And then you have the number system, and you see a little bit how we mix these different things of, thank you very much. In the black boxes, you always have something like explaining, because some works are, oh, moment. I'm interested in transformation.
So, Entschuldigung.
Yes, okay, mal weiter. So it is an entrance with a small article to the subject, and then this kind of collage of pictures and explaining captions, and the little bit bigger letters you see the are quotation of Beuys or of Nietzsche or all people that are in moment. I love it really. When the animal is redeemed as a human being. I don't know, these are some performances he did with animals, and the famous one perhaps is, I don't know, this kind of coyote. He came to New York and were living in a gallery with a coyote because he said, the first thing I do in America, I say hello to the coyote and not to the humans. So, okay. Mal ein bisschen schneller. This is Show Your Won't. This is, he made something.
It is a drawing
pain.
of Albrecht Dürer, which shows him just some months before he died, and he shows his wound.
So we decided for boys we don't use any grit, but we try to make it a little bit lively, and we have only some rules of it, that it is the same thing, but you know, when you have always this kind of grit, then you cannot really make collage with the pictures together. Warte mal, welchen hast du da gehabt? Das ist nämlich... those who don't think will be kicked out themselves. He was a teacher, a very good teacher, and in the end he was kicked out from the minister of North Rhine-Westphalia because he was too revolutionary. In the end he is a very, and you know, is one of the famous artists from Germany, and he kicked him out as a teacher.
This is the inventor of the steam machine.
The inventor of the steam machine, the subject. I think das reicht jetzt, oder?
Ja. Okay.
Was haben wir da noch? Campaign. Here. So the next thing what we like to show is we have to switch for a second to our website. It's a campaign we made for 5 museums in Berlin, and the idea was to make a circle of 9 exhibitions from early things and contemporary things, and the director of the museum said made a competition, and his idea was you as a designer has to find a solution that who is interested in boys, it's also go to Menzel, and who is interested in Warhol but hates normally boys, like also go in the boys exhibition. And so we made a system, so we discovered from all these artists there are in this exhibition group some quotations, and all the color is the sign in which museum it is. So there are 4 colors, or 5 colors, and this is the code to find the right museum. So, because it was the whole year. It's the only woman. This is, geh mal zurück, this is Martin Kippenberger, and he said, I can't every day cut my ear, you know, like Vincent van Gogh. And this is Duchamp, I like it really. There is no solution because there is no problem. Oh, and yeah, so too. Yeah, it's easier. So machen wir jetzt die Fotos. So there we made postcards with this kind of quotations, and
the
all.
The screen is too small,
yeah,
for the whole poster.
We go back to the other system. Gehen wir ins nächste. And in the street, oh no, mach's nächste.
Ja.
Mach mal.
Ja, das dauert.
Oh. In the street and in the train stations, there are always something like this, but altogether we produced 50 posters, and we had very different combinations. So you had it all over in Germany, and everybody, oh, what's going on? And then, yeah, you know, the website, and then you can see when it is exactly and which exhibition is where. It was, in the beginning, they all said, it's not possible, the people don't like to read, and what you do there, it's not good. But it was such a success that the people, they sell this kind of things for money, you know, that you can print your poster there, it's very expensive. And then it was so successful that they say, okay, we make it 2 months longer, so without to have more money. I was happy about this. Slow, sorry. So, and this is, we make it very quick because this is we made last year. This is a very small, but the first exhibition in Moscow. And Joseph Beuys wrote 1978 in the FAZ, Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, a big article about his idea of a new society. It was not communism, but it was left, and it was heavy enough. So when we produced this kind of flyer in the same format like Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, and now in Moscow during this kind of Putin politics, we had 100,000 of this kind of flyers. I hope it was sent with sense.
And we did 2 versions, a Russian version and English version too. And we did expect that we have 2 screens so that we could show
Are they nice?
both
The letters
parallel.
for us was very strange. The nice letters. English is also nice, but Russian is very great. In the beginning, they said it's not possible that Germans make a Russian book, but in the end, it has worked. It's only another keyboard. So in there, you have also this kind of thesis, but this is a small book and is more like an teaser for the whole work of Beuys, not so complicated like the Arbeitsbuch, a working
but
book.
This was the first exhibition in Russia
of Beuys.
Joseph Beuys.
But it's a little bit spectacular because his ideas are not like this government like to have. Spring. So don't be worried, we come to the end. So parallel to our normal work, we work a lot with the dance company together, and we are responsible for video. And we like to show not the videos now because we like a little bit show like the video and the dancers interactive. We are a little bit, you know, when we work together, the choreographer, the musician, and us, we develop this together. It's not like the choreographer has an idea and you have to make it, but there is only the idea, the subject, and in the end we try to find a good solution.
This was a special project, so
we didn't find a good solution.
We had an interface that the audience should had keyboards to do their own.
It's something also like the voice idea. Everybody is responsible for this, what he is doing. So the audience is coming and play the piece. The dancers had the keyboard, keyboards.
This one is for the dancers, this one for the music, this one for the light, and this one for the video.
And we use prepared things and put it to one taster, you know? One taster is meaning that the dancer, is hearing turn around or jump or fall down. And also for the video, there were some cues that you can play with this. And I say it was some evenings were so terrible because all the audience there were on the keyboards were not, you know, sensitive. And some evenings they were so great, better than somebody could plan such an event. It was really per accident, good or not good.
The dancers had headphones and they got commands from the key.
Yeah, and if somebody is bad and the key has said, fall down, stand up, fall down, stand up. This is not very sensitive. Huh? So this was 2009, it was the subject wound. And you see a little bit how video and dancers are together. We had a big screen, but we split it sometimes. All the films we made ourselves in 16 millimeter. Sometimes we had we made sitars, you know. This is a famous Zabriskie point, so we have stolen this. But only a few seconds in the end. So this we made last year. This is a solo of Tula Limneos. And we played the first time that the dancer is on the video and at the stage. So this is a Berlin Metro. It was winter. She was with this kind of nice clothes there. So, and she was playing with herself to have different conditions, to play with different conditions of being. So now in the end we like to show some posters we have made for the pieces and also how we produce the pictures.
Yeah, this was the roof of our studio in that time, and we took this picture with the Berlin roofs and the TV tower.
It was 10 years, the company. It was something like celebration.
Oh, this is a poster in the street.
This is visible. This is the poster for Wand we have shown you. This was a work with Senegal dancers together. It was dancers from Senegal together, a contre-corps.
Yeah, and B.
This was, you know, Detlef and me, and the poor dancer is in the Ecke for Secret Perdu. This is also a very hard, tough piece because all the stage is full of this kind of Erde. I don't know how you say ground. But for the photos we had only a little bit because the material came later, because you have to produce it before the piece is ready. So there were the idea of Sisyphus. So and this is the last from this year. Wut, I don't know the English word of this.
Rage.
Rage.